Hi. Greetings. Peace, beloveds. Let me put this in the comments. Let's pin this. Polygamy. Oh, I'm going to need to know how to spell it. Polygamy.
Polygamy.
101. All right, so we're going to put post. And I'm going to pin it. All right, beloved, you ain't in the screen.
I know.
So scoot over. There. All right, I'm going to let y'all come in. While I'm doing this, peace, greetings. Hey, witness. Hey, Reiki. Who else is in here? I thought I saw B pop in. All right. Since it's our new page, I'm trying to navigate. So since this is a new page, we're going to give it a moment and allow y'all to come in. And while we're allowing people to come in, today's topic is polygamy. It is good. It's so good. It's probably because I'm hungry too. I'm hungry. So I'm over here on a wing and a prayer. We're going to talk about polygamy versus monogamy and the importance of knowing all the dynamics that come with that. There's a lot of, different ideologies and energies that come with when you're talking about relationships. And a lot of times we build off of it from a very superficial space, whether you're dealing with monogamy or polygamy. But the whole point, let me turn my phone off. Hold on, wait a minute, y'all. The whole point is to not disturb. The whole point is any of this, when it comes to your love life or things that are going to affect you in the long run, you need to look at science. You need to research. You need to study it like you would study anything else. Okay, you need to really educate yourself on the dynamics like you would do anything else, and don't take shit off because it's trending. Y'all know how I'm with spirituality. Spirituality is trending, so everybody want to jump on board and be claiming Oshun or claiming Shango or claiming whatever, and they don't know no foundation to that. So same thing with what we're talking about today. There's a lot of dynamics that get into like polygamy. And people, he says it's been around for a while, which it has. It's been around forever. It's been around since ancient times. But at the same time, it's trending right now when it comes to our community, melanated ones. When it comes to our community, it's trending, specifically when you're in the spiritual realm. It's a lot of dynamics that's happening in our community or whatnot. Pull it over to the side. That's what I normally do, pull it back. Okay, so we're going to get into it. So we both wrote our own 5 pros and cons. I ain't even seen his list. So I don't even know what he got as his pros and what he got as his cons. So you want me to start or you going to start?
You can start.
Okay, so for my pros and... for me, I was like, y'all saw my post earlier, I'm like, oh girl, I'm like, who you want me to be today? You need me to be Kiki, you need me to be Akila, you need me to be Tam, you need to be Tamara. Which one? Which identity you want for me to pull out my pocket today? That's how my mindset is. So I'm with oh girl. But when I started writing my pros versus my cons, I was sitting there in the bed like, hold on, there's some pros in this. Like, I might need to be considering having a co-wife. I might need a co-wife. We might need to bring us a co-wife. We might need a polygamous relationship because right now, my cons look like it was easy for me to write out them pros. My cons was like, oh, well, but my pros was popping. I was like, oh, wait a minute. So we wealth building, we nation building right now. Okay, we got my nation building. Because if we have a co-wife, she's able to either provide more freedom for me to go do the things that I enjoy doing, which means that I'm more capable of embracing the things that I naturally do to bring in more income, right? Okay, I'm liking this so far. I'm liking this. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Or in certain dynamics, all people are making money. Because me being the type of chick I am, I'm not going to bring sis in and make you feel like you handicapped. I know that you're going to be the nurturer. That's why you coming in, obviously. I know you here to take care of these kids and make sure that we eat good food and stuff. But I also want to make sure that I teach you, if she don't already have that skill, that I'm going to teach her how to flip this money. Like, you need to be studying stocks or something. You need to be over here knowing how to do something that you can do at home to help us manage this wealth that we are manifesting for our dynamic. So I'm like, oh, okay, wait a minute now, wealth building. I'm liking what this is sounding like. We might need a co-wife. All right. So then I got to household help. Me being the type of person I am, I'm like, I don't really like doing all the domestic shit. When I'm domestic, I don't want to be thinking about money. Okay, let's be clear. And we've had this conversation from the gate. I feel like a lot of women, and I could be wrong, this could be my unpopular opinion, but I do feel like, okay, you want me to take care of home and you want me to do all this domesticated dynamics, but you also want me to make money too. Okay, so I can't operate, and this is my own unpopular opinion. A lot of people don't agree with me on this shit. I don't want to operate in both my masculine and feminine when it comes to our household dynamic or our relationship dynamic. Right. Okay, don't tell me to go make a certain amount of money and you want me to take care of these kids and you want me to cook and you want me to be able to fuck on demand. We can't do all of that. I can't do all of that and be focused on how much money I'm bringing in to make sure that we building for generational wealth. I'm just saying. So, household help. That means I have somebody to share these responsibilities, which I already know that y'all don't want to be my co-wife because you don't feel like the shit unfair. My co-wife will be the one that be doing all the shit that I don't want to do. Oh, she gonna be the one that's watching the kids. She gonna be cooking. She gonna be cleaning. Like, if I don't feel like fucking tonight, she gonna be the one that's always fucking. So, I'm gonna be that's the whole relationship pretty much. I'm sitting there like, they gonna be like, what the hell do you do? What's your purpose? I bring in money. This is my goddamn purpose. My purpose is to make sure that this money is stacking. That's what I'm just saying. But that's my reality. But on my pro list, I'm just saying, household help. This sounded real good. I ain't got to do all of this shit by myself. She gonna be doing this. Okay, I like where this is going. And I'm only on number 2. So then, break from the relationship. I'm a bondsmaid broken person. I'm a number 3 permanently. Okay? So when I'm tired of Mr. AJ over here, or I'm tired of my family dynamic, I can just, like, she here. Y'all, our co-wife is here, so I'm going to go over here to Indonesia for a month or so. That's my mind. See, this is why he would be pissed. He would like, this shit ain't working out. I done fired the co-wife. Because you need to bring your ass back home. You don't live all the responsibilities. But literally, that's what I would be. Okay, co-wife, I need to make sure you good. You good, you mentally okay, you emotionally stable. All right, you good? I'm out. I'm going to go to Indonesia because I need a break from all of y'all asses. I'm on my projector shit. Let me go, chill in another country. And I'm going to come back when I'm fulfilled. I'm good. I'm just saying,
That's your third.
Okay, so, and I feel that's good and healthy for anybody whose bonds made and broken. Let's be clear. Because bonds made and broken, you need to reinvent the contract. You need to always come back in a certain dynamic. Community support. We are a community. So now, instead of me having to do this by myself, I feel like I'm a part of a community.
Not if you gone.
Shut up.
Ain't no
It is. It's a community. We are supportive of each other. So I'm supportive of whatever dynamic she needs. And because it's a community, because I'm going to make sure she good. Let's be clear. You know, I ain't going to leave you hanging, sis. I ain't going to leave you hanging. So I'm like, I'm going to make sure that she good. I'm going to make sure that we building for the community. We, educating and we doing all the stuff that we need to do. Then we'll be a part of other, I'm sure, dynamics of other polygamous relationships. So then there's, that support and insight and wisdom on how to manage this better. We only on number 4 and I'm like, I'm all in. Number 5, freedom. Peace, beloved.
That was
5, yeah, that was my 5.
Okay.
So, because community support was another one. Yeah. So then, number 5 for me was freedom. It actually, I feel, will naturally allow everyone to operate in a sense of freedom because now you're not putting any restrictions or any other dynamics on the relationship. And I think that's what's important, is the fact that now it naturally allows him to operate in the energy that he needs to operate. Peace, beloved. But it also naturally allows me to be able, like I said, if I want to go to another country or if I need to go do something, I'm not second guessing what I need to do because I know I have support within the household that it's not me worried about, well, who gonna watch the kids or who's gonna make sure that they all eat or who gonna run stuff, because I know she gonna be trained. I know. If she come up under me, she gonna be trained to be able to operate in this in a capacity that is going to, benefit the community.
Is there freedom for everybody?
Yes. Doesn't mean that it
so
allows.
She just can go a place.
Yeah, because she got to take a vacation. I know she ain't going to be in here damn wanting to do all of this. Right. I told you, she got to be mentally, emotionally balanced.
Together. I got
okay? Yeah. So those were my pros. Okay, let's listen to his pros. Let's see what
my pros?
Yeah, what's your pros?
She mentioned, a lot of my pros. The biggest thing with my pro would be the wealth building. Mm-hmm. Just the family aspect of the community of us building together a legacy, not even with just us, but our kids growing up together and what we're trying to take to a higher level. That would be my first one. Like I said, you pretty much named a bunch of mine.
He felt like this is naturally what we're supposed to be doing as a people, right? Ain't that one of your pros?
No, it wouldn't.
Oh, okay. My bad.
But I do believe that in some ways because of the old ties of all the way back to beginning of civilization. Like I do believe, and on both ways now, it ain't just with men with 2 wives. I'm talking about even with women with 2 men. Like I do believe
with multiple husbands.
If it's done the proper way. My pros are more on if we're doing it the proper way. We're not looking at this as hypersexual. We're not looking at this as this is some porno orgy type stuff.
Right.
I'm saying if you're looking at this with a clear mind and you're logically putting it together and you're spiritually in line, I'm looking at it from that point of view.
Right.
You could build a lot of things.
Right.
But at the same time, with that there are a lot of valleys and pits and ups and downs that you're going to have to navigate between the 3 of you.
But that's all cons that goes.
And that will go to the cons. So I really have probably more cons than pros, just because I know it's going to take more to make this work. People try to make it seem as easy. It's not going to be that easy.
Because the reality is that
3 personalities, 3 different people,
which is really 6 to 9 personalities.
Right.
But a lot of it is, like you said, a lot of people right now are basing this from a very surface perspective.
Right.
And for my youngins out here, he know how I feel about certain, and I ain't going all the way left. I ain't going all the way left. But I do feel like there is a certain archetype within our community, okay, that promotes dynamics that deal with a very surface level of what this really means.
Hotel.
And then, shut up.
Hotel.
And then,
I'm going to say it.
And then on top of that, when they're dealing from this very surface dynamic, they're not really taking the time to say, hey, you know, if we're going to take this piece, okay, from another culture, okay, because this is not something that you were raised in. We're taking this piece from another culture, right? Okay, you got to take the whole culture, honestly. You can't just say, I'm like, where my diary at? Where my check that you're supposed to be giving my parents for...
In different cultures,
right? Right, like, where's the check? Because if we want to take that aspect of having multiple women or multiple wives or multiple husbands,
you're usually buying your spouse.
You're normally supposed to cut a check to the parents because you're saying, thank you for raising her for me.
Right.
Now I have it. I promise you I'm taking care of her. And if that's the case, I'm going to need you to either have some land, some horses, something. You need to be bringing something to the table to say that my well-being is going to be well provided for.
And let's take this to
and they was doing that in slavery.
Let's take this to another level, even with just that point of view of you got to be able to buy your spouses or pay your parents. We'll take it to another level. In most of these situations and most of where this is happening and it's prevalent in countries, understand most of these women have no rights. You have no rights.
Right.
You are basically going to be told what to do by the man that buys you. And you're going to fall in line in your role. Each woman he buys is going to fix a different role. Yeah, where my goats. That's pretty what it's going to be. Right. You're going to have a horse, a goat. That's how you're going to be treated like livestock, in a sense.
Exactly.
So if we want to talk about really being through it the way that it was brought up, that's the way it would be. You would have to completely submit. You can't pick it. Yeah.
You can't pick and choose. You can't say, you know, and that's the thing that I do get frustrated with.
But we got the new age polygamy.
Yeah.
It's different.
Like the new age polygamy feel like, and even when when I came into spirituality or knowledge of self, I came through, officially through the Nation of Gods and Herbs. And they did believe in, okay, there's one God and there's a bunch of y'all so-called planets that, you know, I am over or whatnot. And I was like, don't none of this shit make no sense because you can't afford one of us. And that for me, it's always been, you have to show that you could substantially provide for this one dynamic. And it's not just financially. Like, let's keep it all the way to 100. 9 times out of 10, most of the time you're finding inadequacies, not only just in finances, in mental capability and emotional maturity and spiritual wealth. So are you able to completely provide in all of those areas for one person? Okay, can you give me everything that I require for this one dynamic?
And you're asking 3 people to do this with each other. Well, I mean, we're just taking 3. It might be 4 or 5, but we're just saying just these 3.
Right,
you're
let's just say it's 3.
That.
Let's just say you're
now, in that same sense, these same things we're saying can still go with monogamy as
going for monogamy as well.
It's just as monogamy as well, because if you're not there mentally, physically, emotionally, and you're capable of being what you need to be for your partner and for yourself first, you can't even get into these relationships.
And then that's my thing is like,
how can y'all even enter this and you're not even whole yet?
And I feel like that's a good transition going into our cons, because that's something that I said. Right. I was like, if you are going to do a polygamous or a polyamorous relationship or a monogamous, one, you got to approach it not from a human perspective, not from a flesh perspective, but you need to approach this from, hey, we need to like operate as God individuals or a higher evolved individual. Right. So we are not allowing this human experience to affect the dynamic. Because when we start operating in this particular type of dynamic as human, you are allowing yourself to engage in flaws and errors and all kind of emotional instabilities that will pop up. Somebody is going to feel some kind of way. So that goes into our cons. Let's go. I'm going to let you do your cons first, since you have more cons.
So I would say my one of the biggest cons for me is jealousy. As much as we try to say it won't rear its head, or it won't come up. No matter what you're doing or putting in place for a polygamy, I'm just saying for a polygamous relationship, I feel like somebody's getting neglected somewhere. Right. Somewhere there's some kind of jealousy. Somewhere, even the woman, like she was saying, that would take care of the kids, be nurturing, eventually that woman might evolve and be like, but I want to be you.
Right, I'm ready to. I want to be in another country.
Money. I want to go to these other countries. Can we get another wife? Can we get another one to take my position so I can do what you're doing?
Right.
So, and there's people that will evolve. There's people that's going to want more. Who's to say that y'all might get together and decide, I don't want this no more.
Right.
So my second one would be, what do we do with the kids?
Right. Now you done brought babies into this.
Right. If I have kids with her and I have kids with the other lady, what do we do when we split up?
Right.
Who takes care of the kids?
Because they calling both of us mommy by this point.
Right. So now you got a whole psychological and a trauma that you just put on kids for no reason that didn't ask to be a part of this at all.
Right. Because you want them to try to be on some spiritual hotep shit.
I'm
sorry.
Third one. How do you divide the wealth? How do you divide the properties? So let's say we've built this. We got multiple properties. We got money coming in from 3, 4, 5, 6 different streams of income because this is what we've put together for the family. Mm-hmm. Let's say she's not working. Let's say it's just me and baby girl here. We've set all this up, but we count her as work because she's taking care of home and she's busting her butt to do all the. Right. That is a job. That is a job, men. So we clear that up now. What women do at home if they don't go to work, that's a job. Just understand that. But if you put all that together, how do you bring it apart?
Right.
Then you can't even go to court and say spousal support because
she'll be like,
it's illegal.
And then on top of that, she'll be like, I've been here taking care of these raggedy ass kids and doing extra tricks and shit.
Right.
And now y'all talking about y'all don't want to be together no more.
I'm doing all the stuff you didn't want to do.
What about me? What about me?
Right. So, and then if we take that back to old school, you usually had to pay to give your woman back to her father.
Right.
You had to pay to give her back too.
You had to cut a check.
Or either something else happened. We don't want to talk about that. But either something else violent might have happened.
Right. She might have been in the body bag.
She might have did something she wasn't supposed to do. Because, over there they treat women different in a lot of these other countries. Y'all get treated like shit.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
But it's still, and it's a combination. So we don't want to just, I don't want to say that they treating everybody like shit.
Right, not everybody.
Everybody, daddy didn't raise them like that.
Right.
There is just a different code. Right. Okay, so we want to say, and I will respect that. There's a different code.
Definitely.
But the whole dynamic is like you can't say that you want to operate in this dynamic that's over there and not bring the whole system with you.
Right.
Because then it does bring up issues like, how is this woman being taken care of if maybe 5 years in she like, I don't want to do this.
Right. Another con, are you taking an older woman and a younger woman? Are you taking two older women? Are you taking two younger women?
Like we had the conversation like, okay, what if we want more kids? Well, we need to get a younger woman because she need to be able to have kids. Okay? I need somebody that that wants that experience. And then on top of that, you still need to be able to have somebody who is coachable. Because that's what it really comes down to. Right. We can, kiki about this shit, but it's still going to have to be somebody that you can mold into the role that needs to be played within the dynamic. Right. There's always going to be somebody who has a more submissive personality that would have to come and play.
So that goes into what I consider my fourth one. Being hijacked. Mm-hmm. The con for me is I feel a lot of women are being hijacked at either
men
at a younger age. Not saying you can't be hijacked at an older age, but I mean a younger age because honestly, you're being looked at as you're moldable.
Right.
I can mold you. You haven't been
i.e. why old men like
tainted,
young women.
Right. You haven't been tainted. Nobody has put in your mind to be a certain way. I pretty much got you clean and pure. Now I can mold
the world
you
and corrupt you
into what I want. Right. As that
now
man.
We can corrupt you.
Because I've seen, I'm not saying it doesn't work. I've seen where men have gotten younger women of age and it worked out and they because he went into it the right way. It wasn't about sex. It wasn't about all that. But then I've seen somewhere you getting into it 10, 12 years and they don't want to do that no more.
Right.
Now they got to readjust their whole life because now their whole train of thought is going to be completely different. I'm not polygamy. I don't want to be a part of it. Okay, so how do I redesign my life?
Right, because I have just spent most of my adult life in a relationship that, was conducive for that phase of my life, really does. And most of the time it's going, and I'm always bringing back the human design. 9 times out of 10, you probably got a 3 in your damn profile number.
Right.
Because we are all about experimenting and trying stuff out to see, does this work for me? Is this conducive for my lifestyle? That's another thing that I really wanted to touch on is like, human design, I'm sorry, y'all, it's a big part of this.
Right.
Because then we're looking at, are you a non-energy type? If you are a non-energy type, 9 times out of 10, your ass is hijacked.
Right. And before we get into the human design part of this, that fifth one, for me, that I felt played a pro and a con was people always talking about you get to have sex with both women as a man, or both women get to have sex with each other, or all 3 of you get to have sex. Understand, there are a lot of polygamists out here that are not joining in joint sex.
Right.
There's somewhere it's just that man and that woman, then that man and that woman, or that man and that man, and that man and that man, or that woman and that woman and that woman. Understand, this is all the way across the board.
Right. Because it is not and a lot of times I feel like polygamy it gets a bad rap because, especially within our community, the posts and the memes and everything that you're seeing being promoted on social media is coming from a very hypersexual dynamic. Right. It's rooted in that men are not capable of being faithful or capable of being monogamous, or that it is unnatural for them to be monogamous.
Like they're asking us to do something we're not supposed to be capable of doing.
And then on top of that, I be like, they not the only ones that's hypersexual. I'm like, women are hypersexual too. So are we saying, now we're seeing more women come out where they have multiple husbands. Right. Okay. But it's not always based and rooted in sex.
My opinion, women are more hypersexual than us. That's just my opinion. We just we put it out more.
Y'all
exploit it more.
Yeah, y'all
we put it on the front street more.
But that's because y'all been, conditioned and trained to do that. Right. It's okay for men to be sexual, and women are supposed to keep theirs on the hush.
Right.
Okay.
That's not fair.
But it plays out into when you're talking about, dynamics like this. You're talking about polygamous relationships. So now we get into a space where, we're only doing this so we can prevent him from, or telling him that, like I heard somebody, and this is probably one of y'all favorite spiritual folks, but I ain't gonna call her name out. But anyway, she had this whole thing where she was like, who am I to say that you're only supposed to sleep with me for the rest of your life when I make this commitment to you? So of course there's gonna be, we can bring in this other person in, and now we have a committed, structure, yada yada yada. But I was like, that shouldn't be the core reason, because you don't want him to be in these streets.
Right.
That shouldn't be your core reason for wanting a polygamous relationship.
But I'm gonna kill all of that right now, regardless. Right. I don't care if it is any of that. Let's be real. If a man gonna cheat, a woman gonna cheat, they gonna cheat regardless. They gonna get tired regardless. I could be married to 2 women, I'm gonna get tired of both of them. Right. If I'm gonna get tired of one, I'm gonna get tired of both.
Somebody out there that could stroke your ego and still make you feel better than what you feel in that
And it might even not even be that. We'll take it back to the human design. It might be the connection that you just had with that person that you just
met.
That
part. You felt the sparks, and you haven't. I'm sorry, y'all don't like me, but I be like, it's emotional maturity.
Right.
Just because I feel a spark with him, and him, don't mean I gotta sleep with every last one of them. It does mean that I have the emotional maturity to say, I acknowledge the chemistry I have with this person. Obviously, they have something that we're supposed to build on. Can I take the time to actually find out, what are we supposed to be building? Right. How are we supposed to be connected?
Or what are we not supposed to be building? Because it could be all just sexual. Then I can't be with you. And that's not, because I respect what I've made my commitment to. That's the key thing between men and women, especially in our community.
Yeah.
We can't keep our fucking word for shit. No. We can't respect each
I ain't
other.
Say it, he said it.
We can't respect being monogamous. We can't even respect just to say, babe, listen, I love you all. I love you, this and that. But honestly, it's not working out. We should move on. We can't even do that with each other. We gotta literally go out here and somebody else.
Like, you can't just be in a space where you're saying, and I've always said this, if I ever felt the need to cheat on my mate, that means that either we need to reevaluate some things,
right,
or I need to go.
Or have the conversation. Say, babe, listen, I love you with all my heart. I don't want to go nowhere else, but I honestly want some new coochie here and there now. Not saying y'all gonna stay together, but at least you being honest.
And give them the option.
Right. And like, you walking in your truth.
And that's a big thing to me. I feel like a lot of our dynamics that's happening in relationships right now is, hey, how is this, how am I being honest, and am I allowing my mate to make a choice that is productive and conducive for them.
For their life.
Instead of me just making the choice for them.
Because you don't want to lose them. It's a selfish thing.
That fear thing.
It's selfish.
I don't want to lose
her. Why? I think I'm going to tell her
I got a good thing, so I ain't going to tell her. Or I ain't going to tell him.
But I'm insinuating, and I'm going to bring up topics to a point where maybe eventually she'll be like, hey, you know what? Maybe we can. Or maybe I can let you go do this here and there, because I really don't want to do it too much no more anyway.
I mean, this is something like, we've talked about polygamy or having a co-wife or having a sister wife multiple times, and it's just been off of just GP,
right?
Like just having that conversation and just feeling out what he thought about it and what I thought. In the beginning, I was like, it's the beginning of our relationship. Right. I was like, hell yeah, we can have a damn sister wife or a co-wife. Because
and the funny part, guys, I was the one like, nah, this shit is set up. Something about this don't sound right.
This don't sound like this gonna go the right way.
I'm gonna get killed. I'm gonna get stabbed in my sleep. This don't sound right. Even though I ain't do it. I ain't even bring it up. But I'm about to get stabbed for it. I'm good.
Look, in my mind, I was like, okay, I understand the dynamic. Because I have friends. I have people that I'm connected to and that I'm close with that do operate, and they've been in a polygamous relationship since before I got married. Okay, so a long time, and they've been doing it, and they got a whole business and a farm and all of this. So I've seen it from a very beautiful perspective, but I've also seen it from the messy perspective. So for me, it's never been like, oh hell no, I can't do it. But let's be clear, I'm a splenic projector. So, me being a splenic projector, I'm not always based in my emotions. I am based in more of what makes sense. Okay?
So, with all that being said, let's get to this part too. We're not disagreeing with polygamy.
I still ain't did my cons.
She gonna give her cons. We're not disagreeing with any of it. We're just saying she's going to give her cons before we get into the human design that
you got to know what works.
Right. You still going to have to do the research. You still going to have to do the work. You still going to have to really, truly search deep in you and make sure you're doing what's right for you first.
Because if you are just jumping in it because you feel like it's going to fix your relationship. Right. And I've done that before. Like when I was married, I remember telling him like, hey, we can get a co-wife. If you feel like there's some things that we need to add into this so you can feel better about this dynamic, because I don't believe in breaking up. I don't believe in divorce. So I'm like, we together forever, bruh. So if we need to get a co-wife in order for you to be fulfilled in the areas that you need to be fulfilled, especially there, because I was really on a paper chase. I'm like, oh, let's do it. Let's make it happen. But he was sounding like, AJ, like, this feel like you about to have my ass set all the way up. You a little cray-cray. So I could see you, like, saying this and then flipping. But I was full. Like, I was looking for, like, I can find.
Like, in all honesty, like she said, we've had that conversation. Now, as we've evolved and developed and grown together, that has changed.
Yeah, now I be like, don't let me cut you. I will cut you and her. Mm-hmm. You want me to damn stab a bitch. No, I'm not going to do it. No, we're not doing that.
See the crazy come out. See?
But that's why I told him he don't need nobody else. But that's why he don't need nobody else. Because I'm crazy enough for all the personalities.
And she has all the personality. That video had me rolling because that's her.
That
literally is her.
Like, I am going to be the professional, serious one. But I'm also
be a whole different person
going to be the one that's like spicy as fuck out here. Like, no, bitch, no.
So give your cons so we can get into the human design of it.
Don't be cutting me off.
I cut you off.
Okay, so my cons, I said energy imbalance. So when I say energy imbalance, because I am a projector, Okay, with me being a projector, I actually got to a space where I was like, I recognize that the energy will be off for me. So if like we got another person and let's say she's a manifested generator.
Right.
They ain't gonna be focused on getting no money. They're gonna be focused on fucking all the time.
Why you think
so
that?
because that's what y'all do. And I'm like, I would be the one that would be sitting there like, it's an imbalance because I ain't even got that. So either I'm gonna be hijacked and I'm gonna be wanting to do the same shit that they doing, or I'm gonna be drained because of so much energy. Right. So, you know, you gotta look at the energy dynamic. Like, okay, there could be, let's look at the energy from a different perspective. There could be more of a, like me, I'm like a higher frequency, right. I want to say, right. personality. And then that other person could be more of like, I'm real calm, laid back, you know, chill. And y'all just doing too much. Like it could not be a true, you know, balance and flow. So when you get that, you don't never know what dynamic it's going to create. Because it's just like partnership charts. Right. Our partnership chart creates a certain energy. We bring in another dynamic. It might feel like it's too much for me because I'm a projector. Right. I already have a lot of pressure because of him. It feels like all my undefined center. I bring in another one that's even more energy on top of it. So now I'm really feeling like I'm either smothered or confined or feel like I'm in prison. So that energy imbalance can be tricky, and you need to know what do we make? Now, if you are a couple that might have a couple of areas that's open.
Give it to them from the other perspective.
Yeah, so let's say
two projectors.
So, and that could be that might be okay. Depending on what type of projector she is. Right. So you might need a projector that is an emotional projector and then a projector that is a splenic projector. So his energy would balance out. It wouldn't feel like it's overwhelming.
I feel like I'm being truly drained.
But it's still, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, you got to see what is being created once we bring somebody else in. Is it applying pressure in the right area, or is it making me feel like I'm in prison? Right. So that was my one of my cons. My other cons was, to me, because of how it's being promoted, it is promoting detached emotions. Right. And like I said, from the beginning of our relationship, when we were talking about it, I still wasn't really attached to AJ. Like, I was in a space where, yeah, I love you, but I ain't like, you know, it ain't that serious, bro. Right. But for me, I feel like if you're operating from a very detached dynamic, I'm only getting in from this particular level. And I feel like a lot of, I don't know how I want to say it. A lot of people, I'm not going to put a label on it. A lot of people, okay, are still operating from a wounded emotional space. Right. And if I'm operating in a wounded emotional space, i.e., men cheat anyway, i.e., they can't be faithful anyway, so I might as well do this. Right. I might as well create an environment for him not to cheat on me, for him not to hurt me, for him not to do. That's a wounded personality. That's a wounded space. Why are you automatically walking into your relationship feeling like that this man has no good intentions for me? That he would actually do this
in the relationship. You're manifesting
it. And you're going to manifest exactly what you see.
Regardless if you're in a polygamy or not.
If you believe that he going to cheat, he is. If you believe he not going to cheat, he not going to cheat. Okay? So you got to really be in a mindset that you say, what energy am I creating? And am I really operating as two healed individuals or three healed individuals entering into this contract? Or am I entering this from a wounded perspective that maybe I got daddy issues? Maybe I got trust in men issues. Maybe I don't trust my goddamn self. Yeah. So we got to get into all of these. Issues. Exactly. We got to get into all of these dynamics when we talk about relationships, especially when you're talking about a polygamous or polyamorous or whatever.
If you've noticed, out of all these conversations and what we've been mostly saying is all of this comes down to you first. It still go back to even what we're saying, Journey to Self, our book and our programs. It still goes back to that, because if you don't get you straight, none of this is going to matter or work. All you're going to do is create more traumas, more things to heal, more issues with you and other people, and not including if kids are involved.
Exactly. So my other con was insecurities. All right. I do believe, like what we spoke on earlier when he was talking about, y'all are still approaching this from a very human perspective. Right. And if you're going to approach this from a human perspective, insecurities can be triggered. You might have those moments where you're feeling like he's spending more time with her than he is with me. Or, you know, shit, since we done, you know, brought women, like, he might be tripping, like, why you over there with this dude more than, like, you spending time with me?
Right.
Like, the only reason...
You coming in the house and we all cuddled on the couch. And
right.
I don't get to cuddle with this nigga. But she cuddling with him.
Okay.
Why I can't be there?
Because you ain't the cuddler. You ain't the cuddler. I got him to cuddle.
Right.
I got you to down build this money.
But that jealousy will rear its head. It's going to rear its head just because eventually people are going to want to be on somebody else's level if you're not securing yourself.
And then especially as people evolve and grow, people as they evolve and grow, they're going to start paying attention to, hey, you know, like the video I posted, the sister was like, we don't want to do the same thing at the same time. Most of the time when we different. She was like, her mate be doing, you know, going running, taking walks, doing the athletic stuff. But then the other dynamic was the sister that, you know, he'll be in the kitchen cooking with her and she ain't in the kitchen cooking with them. Right. She's like, that ain't my shit.
But the question is, can you be okay with that? Like you gotta genuinely love that other spouse.
Right.
However y'all want to look at it.
Because then it becomes that we gotta love each other like,
well-being.
You know, it's a community. That go back to community support. Like if I was to ever bring in a co-wife or a sister wife or anything, then I'm going to be in a space that I love her like my sister for real. Right. So I want for you what I want for myself. So I'm gonna make sure that you good on so many levels. Because I want to make sure that mentally you just as sharp as my ass. Right. I want to because if something was to happen to me, and this is really where, you know, another one of the pro dynamic, I told y'all my pro list was a fool. So I'm like, if you are somebody that I'm bringing in and you are the other mother or the other wife or whatever the dynamic is, right. I need to make sure that you literally can hold this shit down if something was to happen to me.
That part.
Like, you need to be able to run this shit the same way that I run it. And if you are in a space that I see, okay, sis, let's work on this. Let me show you how to do this. Right. We gonna make sure that go down. Like, you can.
You cannot.
It can't be a competition. It gotta be like, I love her because this is somebody who is raising my children. You know, this is somebody who is loving my mate. If I'm not there, I don't need him stressed if I'm trying to make sure that he living his best life and he making the money he's supposed. No, I need you to be good. You need to be doing just as many tricks as I do.
Now, just understand this too, and we're just coming from the man and two women right now.
Right.
We're talking for everybody.
But it could be a woman and two women. It could be a woman and two men. Whatever. Right. It don't matter.
My thing is, whoever is that one person that's taking care of like the money, let's just say the man and this with two women, understand you have double work to do. Just understand that, because you're dealing with two different women. You got to make sure both women are right, secure in every way. This ain't just some sex shit. This ain't just, oh, can I dick them down real good and they'll both be happy? No, you have two separate women. Regardless if they like the same stuff, they're still two separate women.
They got two different blueprints.
Right. So
you might have somebody who is emotional.
Like she might want to go dancing. Other one might like dinner. She might like picnics. She want to go to the beach. You got to understand, it can't be a thing where if I know she like picnics, then I'm going to make her do a picnic too. No.
Right. You got to make sure that everybody is being fed on all levels. And that's where, for me personally, I don't see that happening. And even with like, you know, my friends I want to bring on here to share their, you know, experience. I'm like, I still saw where there was still some inadequacies. Right. And that, you know, leads me to my next con. Well, one of my cons. My next con was inadequate funds. So like I said, a lot of times men that, especially within this whole hotep community, they, you know, talking about, you know, doing this type of lifestyle, but you know, talking about doing this type of lifestyle, but guess what? You might not be, you can't afford one. You can't, so like you need to be able to provide overly an abundant lifestyle for one. So if we ain't traveling and doing, like, we ain't got a nanny on deck all the time, like we don't have certain things, and you ain't doing that for one, then why are we bringing in more people?
And if you talking about doing it for two people, who the hell is say they're gonna both be in the house?
That person, she might want her own
you might
house.
have to get a house for each
because my
woman.
ass would be the one like, I need my own house.
And the man, well, I'm just putting man. We're gonna be living in between the two houses.
Now you gotta have enough energy to go. Eventually, your ass gonna be tired.
You're gonna be going back unless the houses are near each other. Unless you don't put them next to each other.
That shit cute when you young, but when you hit them real ages, your ass gonna be tired.
Like, look, I'm about to buy this big house. Both of y'all about to get in. I'm
right.
Gonna put you on one wing, and I'm gonna put you on the other wing.
Right.
I'm not finna have two houses. I'm gonna have one
big house. We don't have
house.
one, so I could just walk down the hall.
Right. Put the kids in the middle somewhere. We're gonna have it.
Let me get on my scooter so I can go to the other side of the house.
I mean, in all honesty, this can be done. It really can be done if it's done the right way, but it's so many variables and layers to this.
And you gotta figure out what those layers and those dynamics that work, like I said, for all of you.
Right.
Like, what's going to work? And then, like I said, once we get into human design, it further
determines everything.
Determines that.
Right.
Okay. So my other thing, like I said, inadequate funds, inadequacies when it comes to mental stabilities.
Right.
Okay. Can I feed all the women that I want to have, or can I feed all the men that I want to have in my life? Can I feed them mentally? Emotionally, if I'm not able to provide for him emotionally completely the way he wants, how the hell I'm about to bring another man in my life?
Not including, even with that, I can see it already. So let's say she's the emotional one, and the other chick is not. Where you think, and now I'm an emotional person, where you think I'm going to be most of the time?
With the emotional one.
Just by design.
Yeah.
I'm going to be with her most of the time. She's going to get neglected.
Right.
She's definitely going to be like, well, why you always up? Because you're not the emotional nurturing one anyway.
Like, you don't.
I only come over here for business and other stuff that we do.
We coming over here to get money, and once we did that, I'm going back over there because she going to coddle me.
And you really don't want to have too much sex anyway, probably.
No, you already said you good.
You good. That's why we got it. That's why we here.
That's why we over here.
So, I mean, like, you really got to do the
But most of the time,
everything down.
If you're secure in that dynamic, like I said, me being a non-emotional, I might have been okay. Like, I might be okay in that space where the other, chick might not.
Right.
You don't know what's going to happen. And you got to be very aware and conscious and not just conditioning yourself to go to with the program. Actually saying, am I building something? Am I creating something that's going to work for us?
Another thing is, with giving your mate space to heal. We talked about that the other day, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, within that same logic, you got to give your spouses space to grow. The reason I said it, let's say we got a sister wife. We set all this up. We done got this plan. Ooh, this is what we going to do. 3 years into it, she feels this ain't for her.
Right.
Where do we go now, though? What do you do?
This ain't for who?
How can we work this out? Because now she's saying, you know what? I thought this really was for me. After going through all this, it's good. I love it, but I don't want that. I think I really want to go, but now I just want one person.
And then I'd be like, no, we signed a contract.
We don't work. See how she be. But
I made you sign a contract in the beginning of this. So what you need for us to provide for us to make sure that you okay? Because obviously you in your feelings about some shit. Right. So we need to sit down and figure out why you still in your feelings.
But my point for saying what I said was really more of just space. You still got to let people grow and be okay with it. Like she's saying, we signed a contract. You got to be okay with it.
Give it on the way. Want to damn give her a pass.
No, I'm not giving her a pass, but I also do know we all grow and evolve. So it's not that I'm giving her a pass. Just like she gave me space to grow and heal and get to where I need to be. I feel you have to give that to people. I know she don't like me giving that back to her the way she gave it out, but you have to give that to people.
No, I get that. I'm just telling
it's
you
just,
that
she gonna be
my ass is going to be looking at you like, Nah, but we signed this contract.
You really want to know why she mad? It ain't got nothing to do with the contract. She got to start doing that work again. That's what it is. Now we back splitting everything 50-50. Housework. We got to do everything's getting back to being 50-50.
Can I hire you? You ain't got to stay here, boo. But I need to hire you because my kids already know you. I'm saying, you need me to cut you a check because I had already planned my trip to Bali. So I'm going to need you to wait until I come back. Okay, so my other one was we get this whole thing about there's not enough men. That's what they be selling in this Hotep ass community.
Hold on. It ain't even just Hotep. That's societal. That's
so societal.
They say there's more women than men. They keep saying that.
They keep saying that there's more women than men. And they keep trying to get y'all to buy on, especially women with children, because this is just stuff that I've been seeing.
Right.
They keep wanting you to buy into the fact that women with children, that means,
damaged goods.
No, not even that. But just the aspect of, hey, well, everyone deserves a father or a man.
That too.
That's what they're trying to give you. Like, you can't go find... And I'm sorry, beloveds. Y'all already know I got a tribe of kids. Obviously, I ain't have no problem finding no man. Okay? So, stop buying into that shit. If you are operating in a frequency that you damage goods or in a frequency that you can't find a mate because you got kids from a previous relationship, guess what? That's the frequency you putting out. That's what you're going to keep running into. All right? Hey, beloved.
Women, respect your damn self.
That part.
I don't care if you came from the hood. I don't care if you came from bougie, a silver spoon in your mouth, and you got a bunch of kids. Respect yourself. You know why? Because maybe it was your human design to have all these damn kids.
Man,
it has nothing to do with really totally bad choices. This could have been your design. This could have been your destiny of the way you were supposed to come through this.
I know my ass. I was born in the quarter of May.
Stop looking at these women with these kids like they damaged goods, like they're broken, like something's wrong with them.
That part.
You got some of the best women in the world have multiple kids.
That part.
Maybe it was your destiny to help her with these kids. This is part of your design.
Maybe you can't have no kids.
Maybe you can't.
So it's a lot of dynamics that get into that. I'm like, even for me, I never operated that. I thought that I would, was not going to ever be able to find. And I remember when dudes used to try to feel like they was throwing like a low blow. Ain't nobody going to make, honey, I done had several proposals. Several. I done got proposed to several times. I done had carrots on carrots. Damn buildings. All kind of shit. And I got kids. Okay, I got 6 of them little minions.
I had the unpopular opinion among my friends because they would get on me about talking to any chick that had a kid, anything, and I'm like, yo, what makes her different than the woman who doesn't have a kid? It shouldn't change. I had to get on my old friends about that. You cannot be looking at people as damaged goods. I said, matter of fact, a couple of my friends, I said, your mom, you ain't got no daddy. Your mama, so basically you looking at your mama like she's damaged goods.
Don't get me started with that.
Right, see, I love
go there. They don't never want to bring their mama in.
Shut all most guys or friends up. I was like, so if you coming from a single parent home, you calling your mama damaged. So that's basically what you're doing.
Saying all of that to say, don't go into a polygamous relationship because you think that there's not enough men or women out here.
If you want a threesome, just say you want a threesome and find it. Don't get into a whole situation that you ain't ready for.
That part. So I'm like, don't do stuff because you feel like it's trending or you feel like they done convince you that this is what our ancestors did. All our ancestors didn't do that dumbass shit.
And when they did it was different. Let's just be real. If you had the tribes,
still go to that cultural dynamic. There were cultural elements that also went into. Okay, I have multiple wives. Right. And there was a reasoning for it.
We had Big Mama still. Big Mama and Big Papa. Because you had the grandfather and you had the grandmama.
So it was still from a different perspective.
Right.
Like we said, we're not knocking polygamy.
Hell no.
Because I am all for it if it's done the right way. I'm all for it if that is a part of your design. Because it is a such thing as you having certain gateways and certain channels in your human design chart that make you more successful in a polygamous relationship.
Right.
Okay? So I'm all for it. But I am also for you being smart as hell and doing the research to even figure out, are you set up for that? Is this something that would be conducive to what you are building for yourself? Is it in alignment with your purpose?
First, you need to know, can you even be with one person? Is your design even capable of being with one person? Can you be with yourself? That was the next one. Can you be with yourself? Can you be with yourself?
Nah, you can't. You don't need to know how to be with yourself.
Right.
So, I'm just saying. Okay, so don't buy into the not enough men or, oh, we need to be fathers to everybody or every woman deserve a man. And that's why. I'm not going to hold another comment for that, but I'm going to leave that alone. Okay, so then my other thing was,
that was for her,
no.
Oh, you know.
But we kind of touched on this. Equally important. Like making sure that everybody, feels equally important. Like I would never want to bring in a co-wife and she didn't feel as special or as important as me. I would want to make sure that she understood that her role and her responsibility in our dynamic is just as important, as just as necessary, as just as needed as my role. Right. So I would always want to make sure that, if that was a choice that we entertained, that she, felt a necessity. She felt like she was a necessity.
And vice versa. If we was to bring in another guy, I would make sure that he felt like he was the man in the relationship just like me. He was.
So I can have another husband.
I didn't say that shit. Oh. I'm just saying. I'm being that if we ever went down that road, I would be open-minded. I would be logical behind it. I wouldn't, I'm not going to treat him like, oh yeah, you just stepped.
Right. Like, bro, you just here.
Don't be thinking about touching her. Because I know how guys are. We look at this completely different because we're conditioned different than women have been conditioned in this. Right. Women have been conditioned for threesomes where men have not. Right. We've been conditioned for trains and threesomes, but not to sit there and be able to be dealing with another woman with another man. This ain't no porno stuff. We be real.
Right.
Men wouldn't do it.
Right.
They just wouldn't.
It's like,
and if we did, we can't look at the woman the same. I hate being conditioned like that.
I guarantee you. But I guarantee you, like, the way that they treat women in a polygamous relationship, it wouldn't be the same with a man. Like, with men, with, two women, you already gonna entertain, well, can they both sleep in the bed with me? You already entertaining certain dynamics where I already know HO would be looking at me like, we not bringing no other big dusty ass in the bed with us. You barely want to get in the bed. So now you talking about bringing this nigga in the bed? No. Who the hell is, who is this?
You calling with me.
Well, me only. We not doing all this extra shit. Like
I'm selfish. I'm selfish.
I already know. Like,
can't help it.
Sorry. I guess I won't be having another husband's dudes. Sorry. But anyway, so then that gets into human design.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Okay, so human design. When we get into your human design, now you get into elements where do you have a certain channel? Like HA got a full channel of mating. So it don't matter if you male or female. This dude come in the room, you want to have a baby.
Right.
That's the energy he bring. That's what he came here to do, is to incite or give you the energy of mating. How can we come in and create this? So it's either creating babies or you just don't like his ass. It's one or the other. So it's either a love-hate relationship with him. And he experienced, like when we we were telling him about his chart, he recognized like, damn, that shit did happen.
Yeah, right. Multiple times.
Okay.
I get it.
So typically, you have to pay attention to those dynamics. Then we get into what is your actual definition. You might be a split definition. You might be a triple split. You might be a quadruple split. You might be a single definition. Me and him both have single definitions. And because we have a single definition, then we operate good with just a monogamous relationship, but we also can operate in an aspect where we good by ourselves. Like we could be a great, I could be in my house by myself and date other people as long as you're not coming into my space. So, or date one person as long as you're not coming in my space. I forgot we was on spiritually yoke and it counts us down.
I mean, we can always turn it back on.
Or we'll finish the conversation on She Is Magic. How about I do that?
Yeah, we'll jump over there.
So we're going to jump over to She Is Magic and finish this conversation up because we still got to get into the human design aspect and all of that.
Right. Plus, we want to talk to people too. We want to interact with people today.
All right. And I want to read y'all comments and stuff.
Right.
Okay. So love you. We're getting ready to switch over to She Is Magic. All right.